Hi, today I want to talk about creating projects. A project is a scheduled event at a certain location with certain resources based on a certain product. The creation of products was something that I showed you in my last lessons. Please remember that there's no start date yet, it's not scheduled. There are no resources, just references to qualifications, and no location. This is the product. Now let's assume we have a need for 15 classes. So as a next step, we have to create 15 requests. A request now is something that does not necessarily have a start date, but a start period. You can tell the system, I want these 15 classes in May or in the month of June. You have no resources yet, but you have to tell the system, where do you want the training to happen? What is the location? So this is now our request, 15 requests exactly. And as a next step, we then have to create our projects. That's the actual scheduling, because now the system determines the exact start date of every project. It determines what are the resources to take, qualified and available resources, and of course it takes the location from our request. Okay, let's go. Let's see how that works. Okay, here we are. We are on the Mint page. And in order to create now our 15 projects, we have first to select in the categories tree, the category where we have our new product, and that was A320 recurrent training. So we select this category here. Of course, there's no project or no request at the moment, but in order to create a request, we make a right mouse click here, say new, and the system asks us, do we want to create a single request or a request series? And we want to create a request series because we want to create 15 requests. For the moment, we select by number of requests, click on next. And now, as we saw before, we have to select our location. We say, for example, we want the projects in Kiel. It is this category that is pre-selected, and now the period, the start period. And we want to say in this example, let's say in the month of May. We click here, and now the whole month of May is possible. You can see that here, 1st of May until 31st of May. Okay, this is after this is done, we click on next again, and now we say we want to have 15 requests, and the system asks us, do we want to have them evenly spread like this, or at the earliest start date possible? But we say evenly spread. We want to have the 15 projects later evenly spread. Okay, next. This is to determine the request title, and we leave it to the system. We let it with auto. And here now we have to give it the title for the request series, and we say, for example, that is the May recurrent A320, for example. We can give it a certain color, allowed start dates. The location is already fixed. Ignore weekends. We ignore the weekends. We do not consider weekends. The training is on weekends in any case. But we have to give it a profit. The administrator has made this profit property a mandatory variable, so we have to give it a value, let's say $1,000, and planning complete is yes. Now we click on finish, and now the system creates the requests. No, we don't want to create another operation, and here are our 15 requests already selected. Now we have requests. They are not yet scheduled. There are no resources assigned to them, and there is no exact start date. That is now the third step. So a right mouse click here and say create project, create project. That's what we select. And now we want to schedule with resources. we want to assign all the resources already for the briefing room, the flight instructor, the simulator. Of course, you could say, at the moment, I only want to assign simulator and briefing rooms, and at a later step, we want to assign the flight instructors. But for this first example, we want to assign all qualified and available resources. Next. This is the last page that we see here, and now we click on Schedule. And the system now automatically finds the proper start date and assigns the resources to these classes, to these projects. Okay. It tells you the overall cost, because now we know exactly how many resources were used. No problem. We click on Close, and here they are. We can look at one example. So, for example, we take this one, we double click here, and we can have a look how the system schedules this, right? It took these resources. If we select the simulator session, for example, we can see this is the instructor, this is the simulator 2. Right, debriefing, same instructor, of course, because we said there's continuity, we must have the same one. And of course the same for the briefing. If we click on LOE, we now can see that the system took another instructor because we said discontinuity. All this was done automatically, and now the projects are scheduled.